What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Land, and welcome to the Top 20 2023. And basically, man, I'll be doing this countdown real quick. I can only talk about a figure for a couple of seconds and then move on. In my top 10s, I was going over 20 minutes, so I definitely can't do that with this. What I will say here, I definitely had a little battle in between domestics and imports. I also will say I don't have any like big beastly-like creatures. Everybody's pretty much middle of the road across the board, just simply kind of like a 6-inch action figure, except for maybe one, but everybody is all pretty much people, humans. So it's a pretty even countdown. It shows where I pretty much been at. I don't have any NECA for the first time. I don't have any SH Figuarts for the first time. And it's a lot more Marvel Legends than I thought it would be. And then of course, G.I. Joe Classified is throughout. But I want to start off with my honorable mention. And my honorable mention is the G.I. Joe Classified line, period. I think they were the best action figure line of this year. I think they put out some solid figures. What I have here is just simply the Joe side. And I show a lot of love to Cobra. I think the Cobra figures are better, but just simply with these Joes inserted, which they're not in the top 20, inserted into that top 20 could have easily held their own. Now, I do have Stalker up there, but he's on a grunt body. I was just basically showing how you kind of kit bash grunt. Night Force figures are cool. This line is really starting to shape up. It's been shaped up, but now it's really starting to ship out, which it has problems shipping out. Oh man, that's crazy, man. But with all said and being done, nobody's perfect, nothing's perfect, but you have to admit G.I. Joe Classified is the toy line of 2023. Don't know how next year is gonna go, but I definitely gotta give my props to him, give it up to him, give an applause to him. G.I. Joe Classified, toy line of 2023. All right, so let's get into the top 20. Let's do it. All right, number 20 is Too Bad from Masterverse He-Man line Eternia. Thought this was a great action figure. It is very toyetic. Doesn't look like Mythic Legions or anything, even though it's in that realm far as just like a bunch of wash or anything like that, even though it looks like a little bit on there. But far as sculpt and just the layout of an action figure, great toy, man. I got this at the beginning of the year and it never left my mind that this was a good action figure. This is literally the first time I seen two action figures fused into one. So basically, number 20, Too Bad from Mattel's Masterverse line. Number 19, we got Spider-Punk from Marvel Legends. Coming from the Across the Spider-Verse line, a very unique character, very stylized toys. And if you was gonna make a stylized toy, the best one to do was a punk. Most times I think of a punk rock guy, I don't think of somebody kind of obese necessarily. They're mostly skinny, lanky, wiry people, really on the edge. They're not eating like that. And I know that's a stereotype, but for the most part, that's what comes to my head. And this is a great action figure. You can actually do a lot more with him than you think you can. And just because of the lanky frame, it fits the stylized way they did the figure perfect. I think it was a very sleeper figure too. The only thing that hurt it is didn't have a lot of hands, but Spider-Punk from Across the Spider-Verse from Marvel Legends is number 19. Number 18, another sleeper alert, Victor Von Doom from the Captain Marvel Dr. Doom 2-pack, 60th anniversary of Avengers, I believe. Great figure, man. Really took me by surprise. That head sculpt on him is magnificent, to be honest with you, and he feels really good in hand. I love his aesthetic. Pretty much an Iron Man body, just pretty much decoed for Dr. Doom. It comes with some great accessories, the mask that you can hold, and if you put the mask up against his face, it actually molds to his face. Not stick on, but it fits it. So if you want to put some sticky tack and put it on there, it will line up with his eyes, man. But I think this is a dope figure. I think this is a very sleeper figure also. And the Captain Marvel that came in the pack with him, she can't stand worth a crap, but the aesthetic on her reminds me of Stevie Wonder, Hotter Than July. Very 80s afro, but he is the true star and the true sleeper out of that set. Number 18, Dr. Doom. Number 17 is Killswitch from the Valorverse Action Force line. And I will say this about this figure. Out of all three of those girls, I don't think she was advertised as well. Her promo pics look like, But when I got her in hand, she is the most prettiest one. I turned my back on her. I believe the company kind of turned their back on her. And I'm not gravitating more to her because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just kind of had her off to the side because the promo pics wasn't looking like that. But when I got her in hand, she is pretty. Pretty, man. I love this figure. I need to get a second one of them. Also, check out my review on her. I liked her so much, it just brought a real artistic side out of me. And I just basically wrote a love letter to her in that review. But Killswitch is number 17 and slept on in my top 20 countdown. Number 16 in my top 20 countdown goes to Mezco's Destro. Great figure. With this figure here, I don't have to be completionist in this line to actually love and enjoy this figure. I'm classified all day. But this is a great one-off G.I. Joe if that's what you're into, or if you're collecting the whole line. I think this guy was a little bit better than what people thought it was going to be. I knew it would be good because Destro has that Fendi onesie he has on, some type of designer onesie, and Mezco is the only people that could really do that. But other than that, came with great accessories, great blast effects off the wrist for the wrist rockets, great guns. His face sculpts look really good, and he's a very solid figure, very easy to move around, and that's why the reason he gets number 16 in my top 20 countdown. Number 15 in my top 20 countdown goes to Marvel Legends Wolverine X-Men 97 card back. Pretty much the same Wolverine we've been getting for years, but some upgrades. First of all, he's penless. Then his blades, the cylinder blades, look better than I've ever seen them before. His cowl is the first cowl I'm like, yo, that's Wolverine. The big, long, almost kind of like Batman cowl that he wears in the cartoon. And he replaced my love triangle Wolverine. He easily took the crown for Marvel Legends Wolverine. He basically gives you a reason not to buy a Mayfax Wolverine, which I'm still looking for that brown suit one. But number 15 in my top 20, Wolverine. Number 14 in my top 20 is my boy Grunt. Look, I lied earlier. I said that he wasn't in the top 10, but I forgot those were the army built grunts. And that's the beauty of this guy. I army built some figures and forgot about the original one. He's like a multiple man, really, within the G.I. Joe classified line. Yeah, I know you see that bent rifle on the back, but I don't care about that. Most of the time I use Valorverse weapons, but he's the quintessential action figure. He's a green army guy that I just army built and forgot about him. He's a great figure. He's solid. Be honest with you, I battled for a long time. Should I make him number 1? But he's in the back line. There's a couple other figures that deserve to be up more than Grunt, but Grunt deserves everything that he gets. He's solid. What a solid figure. And he's number 14 in my top 20. Number 13 is a figure that I'm glad I waited on. It's Amazing Fantasy Target exclusive Spider-Man. First appearance, basically. They came out with one last year and I bypassed. I didn't go with the Spider Frenzy of last year because I got a shelf full of Spider-Mans. And I have kind of like the most updated one. I don't have the Renew Your Vows, but basically make a long story short, I did not care. Basically make a long story short, I'm glad I waited on this one. This one came with all the hands that you needed, which a lot of those that came last year were just kind of hit and miss with the hands. And I love the fact, this is the first Spider-Man that I was able to get squat like that easily with no problem. I know a lot of other guys can do it by cutting and modifying the body to make it do it, but this Spider-Man right here, no problem getting squatting and do a Spidey stance, and I can have him sit like that for years. The neck hinge makes his neck move up. His line work is good. I think he's a solid figure. For 23 bucks for what I paid for him on a nice card back, hey, he's good to go in my book. And that's why he's number 13 on my top 20 Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man from Marvel Legends. At number 12, we got my boy Shaquille O'Neal from Steel. No, I'm just lying, man. It's basically Steel, though, from Return of Superman or Reign of Supermans. And this is a nice, solid figure right here. You cannot deny what Mayfax did. Be honest with you, Mayfax is the only one I think that could get this job done and get it accomplished. Look at the silver paint, the plastics on them, the cape makes it all just wisping in the wind with the hammer. And I did some great photos with him. You got to be careful how you light him up because the paint is too good. He'll light up too much and kind of blind you out like chrome. But what a great figure. And of course with Mayfax, he moves like butter. I will say this, Mayfax is the only one that I've seen do Supermans flawlessly. And with this steal, I feel no need to buy another ever. Number 11 on my top 20 is Mafex Nightwing from Batman Hush. And I'm trying to figure out where did this figure fall from grace at on my countdown. It's not a bad figure, and he doesn't have a lot going on with him, which that's what makes him Nightwing. He has a wired like batons that he carries around. So what is it about him? I don't know. I guess there's other figures that do way more, I guess. He's very in the pocket. Mafex is the only one I think that could have knocked this out. I really don't see another line right now that could do Nightwing and be like, okay, I think I'm good on Nightwing. Face sculpt is all right, kind of more on the comic side. It's from Batman Hush, but great figure, very solid, and he definitely deserves to be on my top 20. Number 10 on my top 20 countdown is a figure that seems to gain favor with me the more and more I have her. And basically because she's a dope female figure with plenty of accessories. It's Agent Helix from the G.I. Joe Classified line. I think this female figure can rival any male action figure. I think she's dope. I think she's well built. I think she comes with enough pretty much like little weapons and accessories. I think her face sculpt is banging, her hair, the coloring. I think she's just a great action figure. Her articulation, she's easy to move around. Didn't take any heat or anything like that to get her busting loose, man. And for one thing, she can hold everything on her, which is a signature with the G.I. Joe Classified line. And I believe she deserves every bit of this number 10 spot on my top 20 countdown. Agent Helix, G.I. Joe Classified. At number 9 on my top 20 countdown is a figure I battled with to put. Where do I put this at? And it's the Mafex comic version Magneto. What a great figure. Some people may have this figure up a little bit more. Some people may not even have it in the top 10 at all. But I believe it deserves to be in the top 10 because I have no reason to buy another Magneto. I really don't see the reason people have a lot of problems with the Marvel Legends Magneto right now. They're saying it's not big enough, but I don't know. I've seen it in person, but I haven't held it in hand. I think this guy is cut up and ripped up, just like from the cartoon. I think he looks great, to be honest with you. The only thing the Marvel Legends is missing is this wired cape and some other accessories that this has, like the blacked out face. I call that the Fatal Attraction face, like right before he ripped Wolverine's Animanium out. But like I said, Mafex Magneto, there's no reason for me to buy another comic Magneto. I'm good. At number 8 on my countdown, we have Marvel Legends Spiral, a action figure masterpiece, really, man, to be honest with you. The girl has 6 pinless double jointed arms, which you would never see that just merely 2 years ago with a female action figure. A little bit on the soft side, but I wouldn't necessarily say gummy, but gummy to an advantage. She holds weapons very well. As you see here, I got the swords out of her hand. I think I took this axe from the Doctor Strange Walmart exclusive, and there's another axe from, I believe, the Can of Beans accessory kit. I think I got some ninja swords from Can of Beans too, but basically I took her weapons away from her and put just random weapons in her hand because that's what you can do. She can pretty much hold anything. Her hands are pliable enough. She has all the articulation, ball joint at the abdominal that helps her move around. This is a great, well-built action figure that can rival any import any day, to be honest with you. And that's what this countdown is. Domestic versus import. Where my head is at. Where am I leaning to? And to be quite honest with you, there's more domestic on this table than import. So, number 7 on my top 20 countdown is a figure that I had no plan on getting. I seen I think the video of a guy named Kit Bash Customs. He had picked it up way back in like February of this year. I said, yo, that's pretty dope. So I picked it up, got it in hand. Glad I got it. Best Bishop I ever had. The Marvel Legends one that just came out is cool, but it doesn't touch this one right here. His sculpt, phenomenal. I mean, this is a great Bishop. He comes with 2 multiple head sculpts, of course, multiple hands, but that price tag is up there. And as we start to get lower in this countdown, these figures that cost less are going to beat out the figures that cost more, because that's the technicalities in my countdown. How much does it cost? Does it have the same playability at the availability? So basically, it's a 25 figure just as good as a $100 figure because you're going to play with it just the same. But this Bishop deserves the number 7 spot in my top 20 countdown. The number 6 spot goes to another marvelous action figure, man. It's the Cyborg Superman from the Reign of Superman comic storyline from Mayfax. Fire ass figure, man. This is action figures at its best. This is action figure aesthetic at its best. Half metal, half man, and Superman. All at the same time. It's dope. It's a fire ass figure. Mayfax makes a Superman that of your dreams. You can move him any way you want to. You can move the cape any way you want to. Look how I just got it billowing with that wire cape. And the capes are beautiful. It's not cheap bullshit. And every cape from Mayfax is different. It has a different feel, a different look to it, a different way they lay it out, man. And they do it the best. None other, no better than NECA, better than Super 7. You can't touch Mayfax on their capes. And you can't touch Mayfax on their Supermans. And that's why he's number 6 on my top 20 countdown. Cyborg Superman. Number 5 on my top 20 countdown. We got my girl, Black Widow. I love the females this year. There's a lot of banging females that came out. A lot of top tier females that came out that can kick some men's ass. And this figure definitely can. I surely wish she had even an ankle swivel and maybe a... pretty much a calf, a boot cut, but she doesn't. But you know what? Mayfax doesn't either, and she moves just as fine. They would have just amped her up just a little bit, but man, she is good to go. You have to love a figure that can squat like the Spider-Man I got at number 13. And this Black Widow, being that she's a spider also, she can definitely do it too, man. I had a lot of fun. She comes with a lot of accessories, head sculpts, and for $27, she beats out a $100 figure any day. She comes with the same amount of stuff for less than 30 bucks. And some of you call her for like $13, which was a steal. You understand me? And at number 5, we got Black Widow holding it down from the Marvel Legends 60th Anniversary Avengers. At number 4, we got a figure that was a winner the last week on the G.I. Joe classified line, but today he's number 4. The reason why he's number 4, because he costs $35. He's just a little bit priced out. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Definitely could have got him on a sale for cheaper, for like around 25 bucks. But this figure right here is phenomenal. He beat out a lot of imports. He beat out a lot of figures, man, that cost more than him. And he beat out a lot of figures that cost more than him. He came with more than them. So the Cobra Snow Serpent is just a phenomenal figure. Like I said, on the G.I. Joe side, being that he's a regular release, he was able to win that. And he's just a great figure. He definitely deserved it. There's some other figures you could have moved around in it, but on this top 20, Snow Serpent is number 4, and he definitely deserves it. At number 3 on my top 20 countdown of 2023, we got my main man, Snow Job. Now, last week, he got beat out by the Snow Serpent. This week, he beats the Snow Serpent out. Why? Mainly because of his face sculpt. Somebody can relate more to the human face sculpt than just the mask. And we're talking about action figures in general. We're not talking about G.I. Joe now. Somebody will pick this up because, you know what? Hey, this guy has a face. He reminds me of my uncle. He looks like such and such. He looks like Robert Redford. They might drop that Snow Serpent like, I don't want that. I don't want any kind of like beast looking person. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody I can't see. I don't want a bad looking person. They want somebody that they can relate to. And when you're talking about action figures across the board in general, Snow Job should beat out Snow Serpent every day. Every day. And the G.I. Joe Classified line, strictly that, it's a little bit different, a little bit more rules of engagement. But what a great action figure. On the Classified line countdown, I had the skis on him. I got the skis off him now. He's on the skis, still with his backpack. And comes with an extra face sculpt with the hood down. Just a lot of great features with this figure. The only part about it, you just have to order him off Hasbro Pulse, which is nothing hard. He's never sold out. But great figure, and he deserves the number 3 on my top 20 of 2023. At number 2, we got my boy, Fei Long from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Definitely a nostalgia ringer in my head, and that's the first Street Fighter I was introduced to in 1993. I didn't even know about the regular Street Fighter from 1990 that had like 4 or 5 characters. This is what I was introduced to with Fei Long, the 4 Divas, Bao Rao, Sagat, Vega, and M. Bison. And basically, man, this game, I spent a lot of time on this on Sega Genesis, man, and Fei Long was the shiznit, man, and he reminds you of Bruce Lee. That's pretty much what he is, just like Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. And just in that 90s nostalgia era of people remembering Bruce Lee from the 70s, this character excelled. But let's talk about what he excelled in the action figure game. You can pose him pretty much any way you want. This looks just like the Sprite. They come with 2 head sculpts. The best articulation in the game. So I've seen some people had broke a few limbs, but you want to bend him so much until you break him. But it's almost impossible, man. He can smack the floor. He can do crossface. He is just a nice action figure. He has this belt on because he whipped like 4 or 5 Hulk Hogan's asses when I did my review of him. That review was really not that good. My audio was messed up, man. But I still enjoyed messing around with this guy. And for $25, he's better than any import figure on here, and he's better than any figure line that has the grip, like Marvel Legends or Hasbro or any company, Mattel. He's better than all that. This is from a new, well, not a new company, but an up-and-coming company, Jada. And they do great Street Fighter figures. And really, Fei Long represents Ryu, Chun-Li, and all the rest of them come out. The only reason he doesn't have number 1, because at first it was a little kind of hard to find him. And this will be the difference between the number 2, which he is, and the number 1. But you can get him. I seen him the other day in Target down in Wilmington, man. But he's just not as ready as available as most, and he doesn't come with much. Now, he does have the kick flame effect and all that, but still, they could use a few more hands with them, being that they're karate figures. But other than that, they don't have too much to work on. He was at number 1 for a while too, but he just got moved out not too long ago. But Fei Long from the Jada Toys Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo line is number 2 on my top 20 of 2023. And the number 1 action figure of 2023 is my boy, Rock and Roll! Yes, yeah. My man took over in the last couple of days, man, and I had some serious thought on this, and I'll explain why. Rock and Roll is number 1. First of all, well-built figure, really no QC issues. I ain't have no QC issues with mines. Paint, is the paint 100% good? No, I have a few little paint deficiencies on mine, but for the most part, you're talking about a $25 action figure, and it's in the joint area where he kind of moves his arms at. Is everybody's like that? No, but for the most part, this guy has great sculpt. He has a great face sculpt. His body sculpt on there. Probably could use a little bit more wash on the belt, but as far as G.I. Joe, his gun was good. The bandoliers looked good. Had multiple fists. And be honest with you, as far as him with the helmet, you don't need really a second head, because the helmet is almost like a head sculpt for him. But when you take it off, you can take him and put him into a regular scene for photography. And especially the way he's dressed with the newer kind of battle garbs on, it almost kind of just looks like a regular shirt, man. But this is a great figure. The reason why he beats out Fei Long, because he has just as much articulation as Fei Long. Of course, Fei Long is better, but Rock and Roll is no slouch. As far as accessory wise, he has more hands than Fei Long. Accessories is pretty cool. The gun isn't bent. It will definitely work. His helmet is good. All his attachments on, the ammo belt, the phone. He has a 9 on his hip. He's just a great quintessential action figure. But you want to know the reason why he really got number 1 in Edge Fei Long? All the guys who be in them Facebook groups like, hey, it's for my son, man, it's for my kid. You can actually take your ass down to Walmart and go get him. 5 or 10 of them, actually, if you want. And not because he sucks, just for wrongful distribution, okay? This is an action figure you can readily get your hands on and obtain. And if I find him at a decent price, I'm going to buy 3 or 4 more of them. And that's when I know I have a good action figure, when I'm doing stupid shit, like buying 3 or 4 more of the same figure. And Rock and Roll at a good price would definitely make you do that. You're looking for paint? He has art on him. He has tattoos that look really, really great. And he's just your quintessential action figure. He's a man's action figure. He's Grunt, almost kind of on steroids. to be honest with you. Him and Grunt are a tandem to me. These are quintessential action figures. Green Army guys that work to perfection. You can pretty much hand these guys to anybody and they'll like them. They don't have to be in G.I. Joe. So my number one action figure of 2023 is my boy Rock and Roll. And be honest with you, I never thought he would be the number one out of everything. At least G.I. Joe Classified, but action figures, because he's ready, available, he's just as good. It's just as much playability with him than any of these $100, $80, $50 figures that's on the board here, man. And be honest with you, with the top 5 that I got, from Black Widow to Snow Serpent, Snow Job, Fei Long, and Rock and Roll, you could rearrange them anytime you want to, and I don't think anybody will probably have a problem with it. They're all very solid action figures. And they all cost less than 40 bucks. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My top 20 of 2023 for action figures. To be honest with you, G.I. Joe Classified deserved the number one spot regardless what Joe you put in there. They just been putting in a lot of work. And a lot of times on the top 10s, I try to avoid that. Not to show bias, but I have no choice. Because at the end of the day, G.I. Joe is the ruler, emperor, master of all action figures in 2023. And there you go. There you have it. If you can, give me a like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the top 20 list. And if you can, check me out on Instagram at Geppetto910. And with that being said, this is the Savage Land. We do this for the love and beauty of every action figure that was produced in 2023. And until the next time, God bless.